Welcome once again, everybody, to yet another episode of the Beard Owl Podcast, the podcast about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. And as promised, I'm still Lauren, and I'm still here. I'm always here, and I always will be. And Russ rolled himself in from the other room. Hello.
I sure did.
You sure did. And I feel like you were just here, Scotty, but Scotty's back.
I'm back.
I'm back.
We're back. and after watching that clip, I watched it like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, it's the best.
It's so good, and it's so spot on because I've been in radio studios, and I've had to listen to guys like that before, and it's perfect. It's pure comedy.
It's delightful.
I will never get it. There's 2 sketches on SNL that I could watch on repeat and never ever get bored of. Surprisingly, they're both music related. One is the man of the can, get back in that can, which is just too much. And then I don't know if you've ever seen this one or the listeners have, but if you haven't, it's mandatory viewing. Is where Jimmy Fallon as Beethoven introduces the members of his band.
I don't think I have seen
God, you got to see that.
I'm going to be sending you the link in a moment.
Send me a link.
It's like it starts with like a poorly drawn like a concert hall of the time, and you hear a symphony ending, and Fallon's just like Danke, yeah, that was my latest symphony, and then he just turns and he's like, before we go any further, I want to introduce the members of the band, and like he just goes into this whole thing, and I mean every single person that he introduces, like in some way or another, just kills me. Like I can't even,
it's so good.
I can't even like quote most of them because I'll just start laughing really hard. Like when it's entirely too much. You take the wheel here for a minute because I'm going to look this sketch up and send Scotty a link for right after the show.
You do that. But yeah, so I mean, folks, I'm not going to have Scotty go through his whole spiel about himself again because you can just go back 2 episodes of the show and get all of that. But so, I mean, if you enjoyed that, you're in for much more of the same. So before we get into talking about the song du jour, which is Good Old Days, which is the album closer for Even Worse. Hard to believe we've made it this far. We've all seen Weird. You've seen Weird Al multiple times since we last got together.
I saw him twice last week.
I love that for you.
That's fantastic. Like
I spent the 4th of July crossing I only live like 20 minutes from the Windsor Tunnel to Canada, so I on the 4th of July, I just celebrated my freedom and went to Canada to see Weird Al in Windsor, and I had an awesome 3rd row seat, just slightly between Al and Stephen J. And it was great. And then I saw him a few days later up in Saginaw, Michigan, where I saw a ton of my concerts growing up when I lived up there, and this arena still doesn't look familiar to me. I went there last year to see Alice Cooper, and I hadn't been there since the early 90s, and I'm in there and I'm just thinking, this is so bizarre. But this was the first time ever that the map for the seats, it's always a little off. You always think you're getting a great seat and you're like, oh, this is a little far to the right or the left, than I thought it would be. My seat was dead center in front of Al's mic.
That's awesome.
Front row, and I felt like a fraud because everyone around me had bought VIP. And I was like, oh man, I should do the VIP tonight. But there's still Columbus and there's still Toledo,
Yep.
But I sat there and I got all this video and I could, I put it all, a bunch of it in my stories.
It's great.
And yes, and Peyton Rose, shared a bunch of them and loved them. And it was great. And the one thing I should have got, because I felt it was so amazing, was during White and Nerdy, when you have Al and you have everyone all there's 5 of them, and they're all right centered. They were zeroing, I swear, right, they're looking to the center, but it looked like they were looking right at me. It was the one time I didn't have my phone out because I felt targeted. It was so cool. But I was like, oh my God, well, why don't I have my phone on right now? This is great because they're just nerdy to the extreme and blah, blah, the back and forth, and it's so cool.
That's amazing.
That's so rad.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, you got some amazing video. I was like, man, I was like envious of your seats,
During Smells Like Nirvana, I got doused twice by water from Al's mouth.
I love that.
That's great.
I love that. Yeah, I had I got the first time I saw Weird Al was at the amphitheater in Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah.
And we got front row because I've told this story on the show countless times, but we got front row because my whole family, we got to the park and we're like right there at the front gate as soon as it opened, and we got our tickets, went in and just ran to be in line because I think the show was at like 1 p.m. and the park opened at 10.
Yeah.
And so we just ran, and my parents sat there and held the spot down. Well, my brother and I, who were like, I don't know, 12 and 10 at the time, we had walkie-talkies, and they just had us going around the amusement park. And we got back, but we got front row because my parents sat in line like that. And I got spit on during Smells Like Nirvana and Bedrock Anthem. But Bedrock Anthem wasn't like a stage trick or anything. He was just singing so hard, I got spit on me. And I remember literally being like, I'm not washing this arm ever. Ever.
I've noticed from some of my video, and this is not like a scrutiny whatsoever, but I noticed that in some of it, you do see, he does have a lot of saliva that sprays out, and he's not directing it towards the audience, but it's while he's singing. And as a person who's performed, many times, I always felt bad for people because I sing backing vocals in the bands that I've been in, and I'm always spitting. It just comes, projectile, but you're like, oh, well, it's there, and I'm not holding it back. I got to sing. So
it's the splash zone. You're going to be in there.
His voice is so good live. I don't care what else is coming out at the same time.
I was sitting here feeling kind of left out because I was the only person who hasn't been spit on by Weird Al out of the three of us.
You can ask him to do it.
No, that's what I instantly thought, you know what? We have VIP for Tallahassee. So...
There you go.
Just either that or because obviously he's not going to actually do it, but
unless you're going to do it,
I should have him at least have the photo.
Oh my God.
Look like he's about to spit.
You can edit spit into it later.
Could I please get some post-gargle saliva?
Yeah. Right. Can you just save that for me? Oh my gosh, that would be a funny story. So like I know like 3 people that you've spit on and you've never spit on me before. Can you spit on me, please?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I was really bummed about was when I did get the water on me, it hit the lenses. I wear glasses, and it hit my glasses, but I was hoping it was going to hit the lens of my phone because what more? I love it in a movie that you're watching a movie and someone gets sliced and there goes the blood, and they do that thing where it hits the lens like as if it's really happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, how great would that have been if it just actually hit the lens of my phone? Because when they did Canadian Idiot, it looks like I'm going down because of all the streamers coming down over my lens because I was covered in those streamers.
Oh my gosh,
like Lauren said though, I can edit that into your video for you.
Okay, yeah. I'll send it
easily.
The one time I was in front row at the Strings Attached tour, and Canadian Idiot happened, and all of the streamers went off and stuff, and I literally picked up one red one and I rolled it up real tiny and I put it in my fanny pack because I was like, I'm going to keep this.
I used to have, cause Scotty, you know this, like when back when Bubblefoot was in Guns N' Roses, like anytime they came within 4 hours, I would just drive to see the show, but also like to hang out with my buddy, and I had a hoodie that had like the right pocket was like just packed with confetti from Paradise City from like 20 different Guns N' Roses shows, because we'd always, like, after the show we'd go backstage, and on the way I would like just kind of jokingly like pick up some confetti and put it in that pocket. And I'm not kidding you, that hoodie had like, I don't know, like a pound of Guns N' Roses confetti from like all over.
I believe it. I believe it.
I love it.
It was great.
I love it.
I recently was doing a little bit of consolidating at home, and I found a couple Ziploc bags I had filled with streamers from. It was from the first time Kiss came through on their farewell tour in like 2019, and I was laughing at this going, I saw them like 4 times since then.
Oh, yeah.
Not over like, oh, I'm going next week to, go down to Cleveland. It was like 2 years later, still on the farewell tour. 3 years later.
Yeah. I always tell people jokingly, I'm always like whenever the topic of Ozzy comes up, I go, oh, I'm a huge fan, and I got to see him so many times. And then I always joke with people, and I'm like, yeah, and this is true, but I'm always like, yeah, the very first time I saw Ozzy Osbourne was at the Fox Theater in Detroit in 1992 on the No More Tours tour.
I was there.
Oh yeah, oh that doesn't surprise me, but like I'm always like, back on the No More Tours tour in 1992.
That's the earlier, I think that was in the winter time, I remember. And in the summertime when it had come through, they played at Pine Knob, or he played Pine Knob. And my friend had got us these backstage passes to meet Faster Pussycat. And they said Faster Pussycat, Ozzy Osbourne. So we go down for Faster Pussycat. And the guy goes, hey, you coming back down for Ozzy? And we're like, sure.
Yeah,
so we went
absolutely.
back. And when we got to the area where you go down to the backstage, the person working said, I think those are for Faster Pussycat. I go, they told us we could come back. And she goes, okay. And we went down there, and we're sitting there amongst all these Ozzy fans. And this guy comes through, he's checking everyone's passes, and he goes, those are actually for the opener. And I go, well, they told us we could come back down and meet Ozzy. And the guy goes, okay. And he walks off. He talks to someone who I think was like the tour manager. And he comes back and says, okay, you guys can stay, but you got to go through last. And we're like,
Yeah, okay.
we knew what we were doing.
Yeah, you're like, of
And
course.
then when they took us around this corner, there's Ozzy sitting on a couch. And this is obviously, Russ, it's pre-Osbourne's television show,
Sure.
any of that stuff. Sharon's taking all the photos with a Polaroid. So she's like, oh, go down and sit down and say hi to Ozzy and all that. And I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? And all I could think about was the first time I ever cut my hair short. Because I had, had a bad mullet for a long time, coming out of the 80s. And he looked at me, and I said, and he's like, well, I go, well, what did you think of my new haircut? And he's like, oh, you look very respectable, like, and then he started signing. I was wearing this Iron Maiden t-shirt that was called it was for the Be Quick or Be Dead single. It was all this newsprint.
This must have
and
been
he's
before
looking at
Sharon
it, he's
hated
trying
Bruce.
to read it because he can tell it's all this British stuff, but he didn't know what was going on with that shirt. And then he's just like, then Sharon's like, do you have any questions for Ozzy? And I'm like, what are you gonna do when you retire? And he's like, oh, probably just walk around the yard and pick up, I will spare the swearing, and pick up dog dirt,
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
yeah, and it was really funny. And then I still have the Polaroid, and they put it in this little folder, and there's a signed No More Tours CD with some like demo tracks on there, and like a Zakk Wylde acoustic instrumental or something. And that was just. I remember we were just driving back up north that night, and we just thought we weaseled our way in to meet Ozzy for the last time.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to share one quick Ozzy story because it's kind of on topic because we're talking about the good old days.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
just talking
These are
about
the good old days.
They are.
So here's my thing. I got to meet Ozzy twice, which is not lost on me. Like that's,
Yeah.
I mean, neither time it was happening. This was back in, I think one of them was in 96, 97, and the other one was like 01 or 02 or something like that. But anyways, and it's not lost on me that there's like lifetime fans who never got to meet him, and I got to meet him twice. So I'm not, that's not like a bragging moment. It's a thing that
Right.
happened. However, both times that I met him, I knew that it was happening. It was like industry connection type things. So it wasn't like a last minute thing or anything. Like I knew that this was happening and I was able to prepare for it. Both times I met him, I forgot to ask him the one question I've always wanted to ask him that I've never heard anybody get an answer for, which is why did he never do the song "You Can't Kill Rock and Roll" live? Like I adore that song.
Yeah.
And he like years later he brought back tons of songs from Diary on like later tour. Like he did "Believer," which was never a single. Like years later, but "You Can't Kill Rock and Roll" was never played live, not once ever. And like, so the first time I was like, well, you met Ozzy, like, you froze up, like whatever, it's fine. And so the second time, I gave myself like a 3-day pep talk, and I was like, don't forget. Totally did a Chris Farley instead. Like walked in and was just like, do you remember No More Tears? That was awesome. Like. And do you know Zakk Wylde still? Like just dumb questions. I don't even know what I asked, but and not 30 seconds after I left that room the second time, I was like, son of a, like, I was, God, oh no.
Right.
So,
well, because, and now that you mention it, I mean, I know we're not on the Beard Ozzy podcast here,
right.
But I'm now it's baffling me because I would have thought at this point in time between Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman, they would have exhausted all of those songs in the live sense.
You would think so, but that's the one song never got even one play live. So,
wow.
But that was the good old days.
Those
Lauren.
were the good
Sure
old days.
was.
Let's talk about the good old days.
Indeed. So yeah, the good old days is the last track on Even Worse, and we're gonna get into this a little bit as we go on. But it could be in some circles considered one of Al's most divisive original songs.
Oh man, I have such an unfriendly, family friendly term to use about which circles that would be.
Yeah. But
because that's man, I almost earlier today I asked Lauren about the outline she has for this episode.
Yes.
And I was like, when are we going to cover that one particular topic? And she was like, later in the show. And I was like, I almost wanted to be like, okay, I'm going to sit out till you call me. Because like I have some thoughts on that. So
yeah, well, I figured we'd get that in somewhere a little later. We'll start on a happier note. So as far as good old days goes, initial reactions from just about the song, like overall, Scotty, I'll have you go first because you wanted to do this, talk about this song very, very badly. So just why?
Well, okay, so I mean, obviously, it's the good old days, and I was around. I bought Even Worse the day it came out. I bought it on vinyl. I took it home. I immediately taped it. I had a copy in my car. I remember driving my '73 Monte Carlo to pick up my cousin and her friend for school, and I'm playing the new Weird Al album, "Mullet Flowing in the Wind," and when that song came on. And having, been in a household that listened to James Taylor and Linda Ronstadt and Emmylou Harris, I was familiar with that style. So as soon as it came on and he started in the range he was singing in, I'm like, oh, he's imitating James Taylor easily. And the thing I immediately loved about the song is like, oh, it's very wholesome. These first few lines, Dad's watering the lawn, Mom's baking, hot apple pie and biscuits. And then you get to him in the basement. And that's where it becomes Weird Al. Yeah. And that's, not to jump to my favorite line, but immediately that's always my favorite line because just the change in tone lyrically is but his voice doesn't change at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna ride that wave for quite a bit there because that's the thing. Russ, do you have any initial reactions?
Well, very similar to what Scotty said. Like my James Taylor wasn't very much in rotation in our house, but things along those lines were. I know I always go to this when I talk about like singer songwriter or folk type music, but Simon and Garfunkel was like enormous in our house. Like that the one greatest hits album of theirs, like with them just standing in front of the fence. Like if you put that on a turntable and drop the needle anywhere on there from like across the room, I can tell you like what lyric is happening. You know what I mean? Like that record was played so much. That's one of those albums that my mom had I grew up in a fairly large house, and my mom had a copy of the LP for the upstairs and the downstairs, and an A-track for both, an A-track for each vehicle because we had 8-track players in both vehicles, and I think the cassette was around the house somehow. So like, and of course, like if you live on planet Earth, you've heard Fire and Rain, like even if it's not, James Taylor's not like in rotation. So. But here's the funny thing about the good old days, because I've talked on the show before leading up to the Twister episode, and then I talked about it extensively on the Twister episode about how Twister was the thing that made me be like, wait a minute. So wait. So this is not the Beastie Boys, but he's doing the Beastie Boys. Like it was the thing that made me realize that like style parodies are a thing, right? So then Good Old Days starts, and I'm like, how long has this been going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like like the combination of those two tracks was the thing that made me like go back and investigate his other records. And I can't remember if I shared this when you were on or not, Scotty, but the thing where like when I was younger and I got the first record, Popeil reference was completely lost on me, like for it being a B-52's pastiche,
Well,
right?
life was so much simpler then.
Right, see? And so then I go back after I hear, like everyone else, after I hear Cosmic Thing and whatever, and then I hear this, and I go back and I'm like, he's been doing it from the beginning, and so then that was like a whole new discovery for me. But that's my thing, besides the things that Scotty said that are just like the fact that his vocal tone doesn't change at all when he gets to when the lyrics take an obvious turn is just delicious. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
because this is why Weird Al's like comedy like Weird Al is only good in Weird Al's hands, because anyone else, including the 3 people on this episode, would be like, and then it'll be funny when we start singing evil, like you know what I mean? Like, and Weird Al was like, it would be, but it'd be even funnier. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
Right.
so that
Absolutely.
was my first thing, was just, I kept waiting, being like, is there going to come a point? And then like you get to the end, you're just like, well played, sir. Like,
Indeed.
Yeah.
like for resisting that, well played. But
Yeah.
but for me, it was that combo of that about the lyrics, and then at the very same time being like, you've been doing this for a while, haven't you?
I love it. Yeah. I mean, so for me, I'm younger than both of you, not to brag about that, but I'm,
Every time I mention that to someone, by the way, they're always like, oh, you don't have to brag. I'm like, well, I'm giving you, because it's always about music, so I'm giving people context,
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I don't think I was like jarred at all by this song, like when I was listening to it as a kid, because I was just like, oh, okay, because I'm also spinning, Dr. Demento compilation CDs at the same time, and like everything is dark. It's all just dark.
Yeah.
And like, so Russ and I, we actually have a joke in the house where my favorite genre of music is music that sounds happy but is either dark or sad. Like,
Yeah.
that's just kind of what I like, and that's because of the stuff that I grew up on, which is this. Scotty, have you seen the Weird Al Tiny Desk concert?
Yes.
Him doing this song on that Tiny Desk concert, it's a whole other thing, right? And it
Yeah.
really takes you to that, like what you were talking about the lyrics changing, but his voice not changing at all. We can dig into this as we unpack all of this, but you don't necessarily have to answer this question now because it may change as we talk. But like, is this Al's darkest song?
There's a couple of the lines I think are really close. I mean, between this and The Night Santa Went Crazy, I feel like it could very well be like the darkest song, because of the context of this very reflective, oh yeah, those were the good old days, and then if at the same time you're torturing rats and you poor Mr. Fender and Sweet Michelle, they none of them, you don't hear their side of the story.
No, you certainly don't. You certainly
Well,
don't.
you can't anymore in some cases.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we don't know what happened to Michelle, right?
We don't.
Right. Well, yeah, because he's wondering.
Yeah,
should I
she
make
may
it
have
home?
made it home.
Yeah, she may have
Yeah.
made it home. I mentally conflate that portion of this song with Excitable Boy, Warren Zevon.
Yeah.
Right, because like we know she never made it home, but
Right.
Sweet Michelle, who's to say? But as I said at the beginning, this is on Even Worse. It's the closing track. It's an original song in the style of James Taylor, and here's why it works. We touched on so much of it, but the central joke, of course, is that the lyrics themselves aren't funny, and the music isn't funny. But the combination, that juxtaposition, is what is hilarious. The joke is built entirely on the contrast, and I think we've all been dancing around this, right? Because the violence is not the joke. It's how casually it's remembered, because it's like you both were saying, it's the way he's singing doesn't change.
Right.
He's casually remembering doing all of these things, and it starts so simply with torturing rats with a hacksaw and pulling the wings off of flies, which
So this is one thing that and this is about to make this episode real dark for a little bit. So, when you hear of like just some horrific crime, like a one part, like either whether it's a serial killer or whatever, like you hear of like one person just committing a horrific crime, right? At least me and Lauren, you're married to me, so you hear me say this all the time. Whenever I hear something like that, the first thing I always think is like, what goes through someone's mind to do that? You know what I mean? Like what,
Right.
like obviously there's like a mental illness issue in most cases and whatever, but you just think like, how could you do that? Like what goes through your mind? And so I think these are like the memories of that guy. Like these are the good old days for that type of person. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't look back on doing those horrific things and be all aggressive about it. They would like, that would be normal to them. Like all the James Taylor songs are normal to the rest of us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I always think that like about this song, I'm always like, yeah, this is like what's in the head of like the people who I'm always like, what goes through your head? I'm like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's totally true and totally fair, and it's I love that kind of thinking comes out of the mind of one of the kindest people in the world,
Well, it's that wrestling thing where you always hear that like the biggest heels on TV were like the nicest guys behind the scenes. Like like Roddy Piper spent like 30 years being just the world's biggest a-hole on TV in every way, but like nobody has a bad word to say about Piper in real life. Like he's like just the sweetest person, or was, unfortunately, just the sweetest person, and would like always go out of his way to be nice to kids and so on. So like, I think that can be true of this too, where it's like Weird Al. More and more these days you hear that, like they say, don't meet your heroes unless it's Weird Al.
Right.
But like that doesn't make somebody not capable of coming up with something like this, especially in the realm of comedy. Like everything Piper was doing was like for entertainment. Like it was to get an emotional reaction from someone, right?
Yep.
And that's the business Weird Al's in as well.
Yeah. That's totally true. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so the comedy's built on the contrast, and we've absolutely touched on all of that. And it's like, so we also talked about James Taylor a little bit, and like I've never been the biggest James Taylor fan, which seems weird because like his stuff is definitely in my wheelhouse.
It's too uplifting for you.
It's too uplifting for me. I think
Lauren,
you're right.
Lauren will take either really, really aggressive sounding music that has happy lyrics, like the lyrics don't really go with the music, or what she prefers much more is very, very happy sounding songs with really sad lyrics that like most people don't realize like how sad this particular song is or whatever. So James Taylor really doesn't fit your bill because most of what he does is like, hey, wasn't that grand?
Yeah. That's true. I mean, give me Alone Again, Naturally by Gilbert O'Sullivan any day, because that song.
Well, and again, like Simon
So
and
chipper.
Garfunkel,
Sad.
a lot of Simon and Garfunkel songs are like very upbeat in nature, and then when you listen to the lyrics, you're like, huh. So Cecilia's just sleeping around then, okay?
Yep.
There's a band that I've loved for years from England called the Wild Hearts, and their music is very. They're not punk, they're not metal, but they're like they have a weird crossover. And one time when I was playing some of the stuff at the shop, Nick said, one thing I would get with the Wild Hearts, their songs are always so like, they always have these real happy choruses because they're very catchy, hooky choruses. I'm like, yeah, but you listen to those lyrics, they're dark.
Yeah.
He's like singing like it's like this real like and you feel good, but then you're like, wow, man, that's sad.
That's really sad. Yeah.
And then you find out like what's really going on, and then you learn that the singer at some time had suffered from some issues and depression, but when it's put to like a real positive uplifting chorus, it's completely different and almost to the point where you're like, is that psychotic?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's totally the thing. It's like one of my favorite songs in the world is Lido Shuffle by Boz Scaggs, and I will not apologize for it. I love Lido Shuffle. Super dark though. Like we hear that song all the time, and I was just like, we were driving back from Orlando not too long ago, and I said to Russ, I was like, yeah, this song totally fits in like my whole like thing, because this song is super dark. And he's like, honestly, I haven't really paid attention to the lyrics. What's it about? And it's like, you know, it's a gambler who, you know, is kind of like on his last legs with stuff, and he's gonna, you know, play one more time, and then he's got to run because like they're after him now. It's one more for the road, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, holy moly, it's
That's great.
It's not happy at all.
I'm not sure where to shoehorn this in, so I'll just throw it in.
Do
here.
it.
One thing I absolutely love about this track, and it continues a tradition we've been talking about since we had the Fat episode, is the production on this track is stellar.
Yes.
And you know, some folks might listen to it and be like, well, yeah, but how do you screw up, like, you know, just guitar and vocals? Well, you can listen to a whole lot of folk music that was produced in the 70s that sounds like absolute crap.
Poorly recorded.
Yeah, and I mean, you can throw Good Old Days on today, and it sounds like it was recorded yesterday, and it's been that way since the album came out.
Yeah.
It's not easy to capture acoustic guitar in a recording.
Yeah.
It takes, you know, it's a hard instrument to record.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's not so difficult where they can't do it, obviously, but it's like to get it to sound as crisp and, you know, like bright, but still maintain the low end. It's that song is well recorded.
Yeah, and the percussion on the track, like I say, like you can listen to a ton of folk music from the 70s where the percussion sounds awful, you know, and then Weird Al's vocal is recorded so clean. Like, it's just really, really, really impressive recording. Like, literally everything about the track is just very impressive.
Yeah. So how would you compare it to actual James Taylor stuff?
I mean, as far as production,
Yeah.
like on the level with, at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or
very close.
probably-
I think
yeah.
at whatever point they managed to get Rick Derringer's hands off of the mixing board, and it was mostly like Tony Papa, and I think Al, you know, working together. I think the two of them, they knew how to get these sounds and to capture just the nuance, because, you know, you always hear Al talk about how, you know, people always think that, you know, I just take the song and erase someone's vocal and put mine on there, you know, but then we have to re-record it, and just sonically capturing all of that from track to track, and every song being completely wildly different with it still sounding very even across is amazing.
Oh, we talked about that extensively on the Fat episode. It's like,
Yeah.
so you're going to go ahead and recreate a close facsimile of the work of Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, Bruce Swedien, and Greg Phillinganes, and just pull that off, like, you know. And then you go to track 2, and it's a completely different sound. And then literally, like, and then track 3's got the big lush Jeff Lynne production on it, like every single track on this record is produced so incredibly well, and
Yeah.
I think the Good Old Days is a great way to cap the record off that way.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Totally fair. Yeah, we have some time to talk more musically about it as we get through this episode. But we talked about this a little bit. So the narrator of this song, who is this guy?
He's a person who's in prison now,
Yeah, he's in prison.
in my opinion. Like,
Yes, definitely.
if nothing else, that's probably the guy who, like, you know, when you see people like I was talking about earlier, like awful people, and you see them getting sentenced, and they're like, they have that like weird smile on their face or whatever, and you're like, oh no, that's what he's thinking about. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like nostalgic for it, right? Yeah, because like we were talking about, like he never sounds angry or evil. He just sounds purely nostalgic for this stuff.
Sounds
which,
like James Taylor.
yeah, which is, I mean, truly that truly makes it even creepier.
Oh yeah,
So much
for
creepier.
sure. Yeah, and that's what I mean when you say, like, you know, what goes through these people's mind. You're like, this is it. This is what goes through their mind.
Yeah.
Well, I remember at the time too when the song was out, and knowing that it sounded like James Taylor, and one of my good friends at the time would always say, "Oh, this is, you know, you could tell he's trying to do this or that," and I would hear that, and I wasn't a fan of James Taylor or that, because I was so into like hard rock but I loved my comedy that I felt like I was that teenager going, yeah, we're sticking it to James Taylor right now, taking his style and and putting these lyrics on it.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's part of it in its own beautiful, wonderful way.
I want to have a punk band now named Sticking It to James Taylor.
Oh my gosh, and you do nothing but punk covers of James Taylor?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we work in a couple. That wouldn't be our whole shtick. Don't be ridiculous.
No,
I'm sure somewhere along the lines, not No Effects, but what's the other band that those guys from No Effects from that do all the covers? They're on Fat Records.
Wait a minute, I'll go check.
Very nice.
Well put.
Thank you.
Oh, Me First and the Gimme Gimme.
Yes.
That's them.
There we go.
They had to have covered Fire and Rain.
Oh, I'm
They
certain
they were
did
the
at some
epitome
point.
of those punk bands that just played everything that sped up. It sounds like the original, but everything's just played really fast.
Yes.
Let's see if they, Lauren.
But they could become Sticking It to James.
They sure
Taylor.
did.
Yeah, of course they did.
They sure did.
Yeah, if they ever have any legal problems with their name, then they're welcome to use my idea and just change it to Sticking It to James Taylor.
Oh
Yes.
my God, they sure did do it. They sure
They
did do it. So some lyrical conversation while we're at it. Let's get into some of the minutia on that. Do any of you have a line that you think is the funniest, the darkest, or has the best delivery, or all three? I'm up for whatever you think is.
Well,
What strikes your fancy?
this is going to sound so remedial, but for me, the funniest line is always when the first time the song takes the turn. Like, where
Yeah.
it's just like, it's like all these shared memories and all the rest of us, and he's just like, and I'd spend all day long in the bay. And you're just like, huh. Like, okay. Like, and,
A
'cause like,
hacksaw, no less.
oh,
I know.
I know. That and the fact that, like, even though he didn't do it on the first one, I get, like, through the whole song, because of the way that first one, the turn is delivered, I kept thinking like, oh, is he going to get like aggressive at some point? And then just nope. So that for me, the very funniest line, like the thing that always makes me laugh the hardest when I, because I've heard it 10,000 times, is every time I hear that line, I laugh.
Yeah.
Like no matter what. Like, and I obviously I know it's coming, but it just cracks me up every single time.
Well, at risk of making myself sound psychotic, the thing about when he says torturing rats with a hacksaw, but the pulling wings off of flies. Okay, I grew up in the late 70s and early 80s. I remember hanging out with a bunch of kids, and when kids would do things like that, like I remember someone's older brother showing us when you yank the leg off of a daddy long leg spider that it keeps moving. And that was the type, and and as far as I know, this guy's not a serial killer these days, but like those were things that like back then, because when you hear people say, oh, it was a different time, and you wink wink, it kind of was, because kids did things like that, but then they just moved on from it. You're like, oh, and then someone's parents like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Then you just stopped, But like, I think when I first heard that, I laughed because of the fact that more than certain, I had been with the neighbor kids when someone was doing something, vile to some poor insect, hey, check this out. And there's like, they're got the magnifying glass out and they're heating up some ants.
I was going to say the magnifying glass with ants. Yeah, that's what,
Yeah.
And
So
I
classic.
remember there were always like groups of kids doing stuff like that, and you were just kind of like, okay, and like somebody said, like somebody eventually be like, that's cruel, stop it, and you'd be like, okay.
Always. Yeah, there's always someone that would, and I was always that one that you sat there and you laughed a little bit, but then after a while I feel like this is kind of weird, but hearing that line always made me go, well, yeah, kids did that. I'm not defending them, not defending that, going and torturing insects, but I thought, well, that it was like that.
It was. It
And
was.
the narrator of the song was like, is probably going, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's the one-armed guy from The Simpsons, from the soldier
yes.
with the pinned sleeve, his sleeves pinned up.
It's sleeve pinned up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might as well say this. I don't even care. Wasps and yellow jackets, right? Like, they're terrible. Like, if you're gonna torture an insect, those are the ones to do it too, right? Because like they're terrible.
Yeah.
So I remember growing up, anytime one of them would like land in the pool and like not be able to get itself off of it, I'd take the net, get it right on top of it.
Slowly push it down.
Not slowly push it down. I was even worse than that. I would take it over to the pool
Yeah,
jet
even worse.
and hold it up next to it, and it just got blasted to death. I did that dozens of times. Like, I'm like, no, you're not getting me, you mother. No, you're not getting me. I'd get it. I'd keep it underwater till I got to the pool jet, and I'd both hands, and I'd just hold it there, and I'd watch it.
Or you very casually, have him take a little swim, and then you watch him go into the filter and spin around down. And you're like, goodbye.
Oh yeah, I didn't trust the filter. No, I had to get.
No.
I had to blast him to
they
death.
would come back sometimes.
Yeah.
I would watch things shoot out of that because I remember. Everyone loved to put their back up against to the, the water as it shot out from,
Of course.
from the filter. And occasionally you would see something come out and you'd see someone, and then it's like they got like a bug or something like that
Literally,
made it
you get
through.
a bug up your butt,
Yeah. Yeah, because there was always that person that positioned their body
Yep.
to, a
Yep.
little bit higher.
Yep.
And you're like, what are you doing? Or you hear my mom yelling from a window, what are you doing? What are you doing? And my brother just like slinking back down.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we're hitting on something I think pretty interesting here, right? Is this, other than the torturing rats with a hacksaw, but the insect thing, right?
Yeah.
Kids again did weird stuff, and that first verse isn't all that weird.
Right. No, that's the thing, that's the difference between us and the guy having these memories, is the rest of us didn't go any further.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, whereas this guy's sitting in court, I assume, about to be sentenced for the rest of his life, and it's like just thinking back on how wonderful all these things were that he did that were way further than what anybody else had done.
Yeah.
Or maybe he did just actually get away with all of it.
Oh, that too.
Well, because he did.
They were like, yeah. Oh, I remember that now. Yeah. And not knowing, well, all these years there's like unsolved mysteries going on, still trying to figure out, because maybe sweet Michelle, by the time she got back from the desert, was so delirious that her, she doesn't remember. She's so distraught and she's just, crazed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or good old Mr. Fender, right, who ran the corner grocery store.
He wouldn't remember. Got his
Right,
head
because
bashed
he
in.
got his head bashed in. And that's probably my favorite line, is you should have seen the look on his face. Like,
So good.
Oh, for sure.
that's delicious.
Yeah, that, and I don't know why, but it just, when it's always cracked me up when the harmony comes in on High School Romance. Like, it just,
High
Yes,
school
and the guitar behind it.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
very like 16 Candles. Like,
Yeah.
it's trying to capture this like, dream date, prom, and
just wonderful. Like,
Yeah. It's great.
yeah.
It's delightful. But yeah, so I mean, we've touched on all of this too, and then I'll hit this section, and then we'll take a break for some ads and all that stuff. But we've kind of been going through this as we go organically, right? The song escalates because it starts with just flies and rats, like whatever. That's kid stuff, whatever. And then verse 2 is arson and murder. And then it ends with kidnapping and implied murder, but the chorus doesn't change.
Right.
That's kind of different from a lot of Weird Al songs too. Isn't a lot of times the chorus differs lyrically.
Well, I mean, he's also doing the style of the person, and that's what Taylor would do. He'd always go back to the same hook.
Yeah.
The
same hook. So, and it's perfect. But yeah, we are going to take a quick break for some ads, and we'll hit you on the other. I know it.
No, it just turns into an awkward silence where, like the Seinfeld where he has the Mike Douglas stage.
Right.
And he's like, we're gonna go to a commercial, and then he just sits there and Kramer's just eating nuts, and George is just sitting there like, what's going on? Okay, and then they're back, and then it's like he just ignores the guests like it's always been rumored that happens in talk shows.
Oh,
that they
yeah.
just ignore them and there's nothing going on.
Yeah, I've been in like a couple of TV studios and it's like that they go to commercial and you think like conversations are going and whatnot, and then like everyone's just like keeps to themselves and is like looking at their cards and stuff, and then when the cameras turn on, they're like they get right back to it, and I'm always just like, I don't know, it's a little weird and creepy, but it's also like that's what they do for a living. They know what they're doing,
Right. He like if the guy like so they had us play in and out of the commercials, and they'd say, okay, start your song, just play it. You're gonna play it for about maybe a minute, and while we're doing it, I'm just sitting there playing along, and I'm looking at that guy, and he's looking at the newspaper.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then of course
completely disinterested.
Yeah,
with
and then of
super
course
loud band behind him.
Yeah, comes back from commercial and talks about how great you sounded or whatever.
Yeah, oh, that was fantastic. What do you call that one?
I always think of it's in Wayne's World 2 when they go into the radio station to talk to the guy they think is Handsome Dan, and it's Harry Shearer at the mic, and he like just the entire time they're talking, and you've done radio, you know this, like the entire time they're talking, he's just like, oh yeah, oh well, that sounds good. Like he's not even remotely listening to them. And when Wayne's like, I could say anything I want, right? Like like you're
sure, yeah,
you're
go right
ridiculous too. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that is good.
And we're back.
And we're back.
We're back.
Funnily enough, while we were off air, we were talking about people on the radio. Oh, dude, you got Sanji on your station too? Come on, man.
He works for the station.
No, man, he works for the station. That's just great.
Come on, you guys.
Oh no, that's the one. She works for the station. It's dude, they're from different villages.
Oh Lord. All right.
We'll be right back. Dirty Dad just pooped his pants. 905.
Z105.
Yeah, Z105.
I love like the like when they announce the time.
Oh
anytime
yeah.
It's not a fact. Here we
Yep. I remember that being a big, like, again, going into the good old days. That was like just such a staple that you never even thought. Like I used to work overnights at gas stations around Detroit, like for many years, and even at like 3 a.m, it just like the one DJ on his own would be like, coming out of Time by Pink Floyd or whatever else, like Pink Floyd and 101 WRI, 4:07 a.m. And you're just like, all right, like okay,
I'm really here.
Yeah,
it is. I'm here. I'm here with you.
Yeah, I always wonder if maybe that's part of it too. Is like I did not pre-record this.
Yep. Oh, anyway. So we're getting into the second half of this episode, and I feel like I need to have a little conversation to set up the next thing that I'd like to talk about.
Oh boy.
So we've touched on the song quite a bit, but I feel like we need to have a bit of a discussion about Weird Al's dark side. Because we kind of talked about how Good Old Days could arguably be his darkest song, but then there's songs like Melanie, which is also on this album, that's quite dark. Nature Trail to Hell is dark. The Night Santa Went Crazy. You Don't Love Me Anymore. Trigger Happy.
I love Trigger Happy so much.
So I don't know. This is definitely something that he does, and he does a lot. He goes to very dark places in his music.
I don't know if there's science behind this, but I've told you this before, that at least I've always heard that like the darker humor, people with real dark humor, that's like a sign of intelligence. And I honestly don't know if there's like science behind that, or if somebody was just being real nice to me one day about my dark sense of humor.
I feel like they can take that and put it into many different contexts. Like, people that choose green are considered geniuses.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or people that swear a lot are highly intelligent.
I've always heard that too, and I'm always like, sweet, then I'm super smart because I like to swear a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always kind of equated that to this whenever I heard that, because it was never from one source. Like I've always heard that over the years, and I've always thought to myself, yeah, well, Weird Al's real smart, and he's got all those dark songs, so I'll buy into that.
I will absolutely buy into that. Yeah, and I don't know. Again, like growing up on Weird Al's music, like I what's the best way for me to put this? Like, this didn't register for me like any of it growing up as dark. Like it just kind of was what it was, and
It just was comedy.
and it was funny, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it's not until you get older and people are like, "Oh my god," that you're like, "Wait, what? Like this is dark. This isn't just funny."
Well, wait,
Does that mean
right?
I assume you're setting us up for the article
Yeah, I am.
discussion because not everybody goes right to, oh my God. Like most people can do like what you're saying. When I was a kid, I never heard this and was like, oh my word, that's dark. Like I totally took it as the comedy that it was. Like because here's the thing. Life for most people is not anywhere near as good as James Taylor presents it in the average James Taylor song, right? So there's a case to be made too where he's just doing like the exact opposite of what James Taylor did, and that joke is like surface level. You know what I mean? Like you don't even have to put much thought into it to know that joke is there. So there's that school of thought too, that like whereas James Taylor's presenting a version of life that's so darn happy-go-lucky that no one really experiences, Weird Al's giving you the opposite. Like, okay, well, it's no one's ever really this dark either. You know, when I hear stuff like Trigger Happy or You Don't Love Me Anymore, like my first thought is never, oh, that's dark. My first thought is, gosh darn it, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So we're all on the same page as far as all
So
of
is
that
cleaning
is
all the
concerned.
toilets in Grand Central Station with your tongue.
Oh my God, I love that line so much and I'd rather dive into a swimming pool filled with double-edged razor blades. Like, come on. So we're going to get into now what I have dubbed the 2022 controversy because this made a lot of us angry in the house. But we have to set it up, of course, with the unfortunate return of the ridiculously self-indulgent, ill-advised Vanity Tour, which, of course, was the sequel to the ridiculously self-indulgent, ill-advised Vanity Tour from several years prior. And I know I saw it. Russ, you saw it. Scotty, did you see the unfortunate return of the ridiculously self-indulgent, ill-advised Vanity
I
Tour?
saw the first one and I saw the return.
Okay, great. Yeah, same. Okay, so we've all seen this tour, and we've all probably got different experiences of it because like no two set lists were exactly the same, which I thought was awesome.
Well, Scotty and I do because we were both at the same Ann Arbor show.
Scotty and I do because we're both at the same
Where he, much to the chagrin of your audience, opened with Melanie, a song that is just okay by my.
Yeah, you know, that was I honestly, like, after Fun Zone and then that song came on, I was like going, are we gonna get the bad set list? Because Nick and I had been watching all those set lists and we're like, oh my God, you see what they played last night? I mean, we got Young, Dumb and Ugly.
Yeah, that's
and we got Nature Trail to Hell. So we got some cuts in there. But like I was like, please no, Melanie, please no. And I'm sorry to say this. I mean, there's no Weird Al song I dislike by any means. But when it comes to something like that, I want to hear. I really want to be wowed with something that's going to make me go, oh, cool, you know. And then, you know, but please, like, you know, don't play Jackson Park Express. It's too long. you know.
Yeah. Did he do that on that?
I don't think he did it that night.
He did it on Strings Attached. I know that.
He did. Yeah, he did it at. I have my framed set list from the VIP, and I was like, oh, yeah, there it is. You know, but I was listening to that song on, I think, coming back from Saginaw. Or on my way to, and since I was in such a good mood, I'm hearing it. I'm like, oh, this is a great song. I mean, musically, it's great, and you know, and it's you know, it's a nice long Al song, but without going too far into it. But I was just like, oh, I kind of felt like there's so many good songs on that record, and it gets to that one, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know how I feel about this one.
No, I totally understand that, and I'm saying that as somebody who put lyrics from Jackson Park Express into my wedding vows.
She did.
Yeah,
she put
when you're,
which I can totally get behind. You know,
when you're cold, I will warm you. When you're shivering, I will hold you, and when you're nauseous, I will give you Pepto-Bismol every hour for as long as the symptoms persist.
That's like literally in our wedding
Right.
reel. That's real. And then I did some lyrics from Albuquerque in my vows.
You know, because he is ready for that kind of a commitment.
Yeah, I literally put that in my wedding vows.
So yeah. So we got the Vanity Tour, and he put Good Old Days on the set list for many shows on that tour, and now we get to the thing that made us all upset. In 2022, in a review of a a show from the unfortunate return of the ridiculously self-indulgent, ill-advised Vanity Tour. A writer named Linda Falkenstein, I'm calling her out by name.
Well, she's the one that put it in public.
Yeah,
It's not like she put it out under Dear Abby and
That's
you're
true.
saying her
I'm calling her
real
out by name 4 years later. For the publication Isthmus, she argued that songs like Melanie, Good Old Days, and Albuquerque landed differently in the wake of recent mass shootings. She suggested that the songs reflected resentment and violence that she found unsettling rather than funny, calling into question whether they still worked in today's climate. Specifically, she described Good Old Days as a song about a narrator remembering, quote, when he killed the kindly grocer and set fire to his store, and said placing it alongside other darker originals made the set feel troubling rather than comedic.
There's so many things wrong with that sentence.
So off the mark too. This is someone that truly does not understand comedy.
Well, no, doesn't understand comedy, doesn't understand, for sure doesn't understand nuance. Like, and then there's also part of me that's made some people, because Lauren will tell you that when I got wind of this, I mean, there was so much swearing and stuff. Like, we're talking like
What, wailing and gnashing of teeth?
3 days later, like silently on the couch, I would be like, you know what else? Like,
You're like,
I
and
would,
another thing.
Yeah, and I would just start going off about it again, Part of me too is like, okay, part of this is for the clicks. Like everybody's got to have a hot take these days. And I'm going to be that bold person that has the nerve to be like, oh, Weird Al's bad, But there's so many things about like, and Scotty and I have talked about this, like with our, like, he's far more directly involved, but my like adjacents to the music business over time, you run into so many members of the quote unquote press who have no business talking about music, let alone like reviewing / judging it. Like I'm of the mind that most art, like there's no way to squarely judge most art anyways, but like someone who's getting paid to go and take in art and write a review of it. There's so many people in that industry who have absolutely no business doing so. Like, and I think pieces like this just show that. Like this person went in there, heard a couple of lyrics that they didn't like, totally didn't understand the context, for sure didn't get the nuance, apparently doesn't have a funny bone in their body, and then was just like, well, now I'm going to write this piece as if I'm judging this art when they're not even close to qualified.
Right.
Right.
And actually, I love that. I love that because at the time, writer, Weird Al biographer, and friend of the show, Nathan Rabin, after that article came out, actually wrote a scathing rebuttal. Scathing rebuttal. And Russ, it's so funny. Like literally what... I'm going to quote Nathan Rabin here for just a second. Here's the quote. She opens by writing about how shocked she was that her coworkers were Weird Al Yankovic fans who expressed the bizarre and, to her, ultimately insupportable conviction that going to one of his concerts might somehow be, quote, fun. She naturally and not at all obnoxiously assumed that they would share her view of Yankovic as someone whose music she is vaguely familiar with but feels utterly indifferently about, since that is clearly the only appropriate adult take to have on a juvenile performer such as Mr. Yankovic.
Yeah. I've told Lauren this so many times, like, famously, the only band that I truly despise, like hard, is Creed. Like, and I have so many problems with Creed, right?
Awful.
But
Awful.
But first of all, at the risk of sounding a bit pretentious, I think at least on your show, if nowhere else, I've proven that I am in a position to, have an opinion on different musical acts, right? Second of all, here's my thing. You know where you've never seen me, ever? Buying a Creed CD or going to a Creed show, because what am I going to get out of that other than coming out and writing crap like this? So I went and saw Creed because my buddies are dumb and they wanted to go. Like, no, my buddies were like, do you want to go see Creed? Never in 1,000,000 years. You sure? Absolutely positive. You sure? Are you going to torture me if I don't go? No? Cool. Then I'm sure I don't want to go, right? And then they go and enjoy the show, and and this is crazy, went on living my life. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't need to, like, insult them or what they're into or, like, insult Creed to their face. I sure insult them when they're not standing there. But, like, I don't have to insult what my friends like to their face. And this article just reeks of such superiority. Like, I would love, now that this has all died down, to just send her a random email that says no reference to Weird Al whatsoever and ask her for her top 5 artists of all time. And then I will just rip them to shreds, because I guarantee you it's all pretentious crap. Like, just beyond pretentious crap.
I'm sure she agrees with the New York Times 50 greatest songwriters.
Oh, my God.
Right.
Yeah.
See
Or
that crap?
you find out her top 5 favorite artists, and they actually end up being artists that Weird Al has done pastiche
Yeah.
songs of.
Well,
James Taylor.
I love Imagine
Well,
Dragons.
I was going to say
Yeah.
that,
Oh,
or
God.
I was going to say you're exactly right with that, or you get her 5 favorite artists and then start pulling the old, hey, do you know what this song by that person is really about? You know what I mean? Because I'm certain from the level that they wrote that they've never actually looked into lyrics. It's like, you know.
You love Foster the People, huh?
Oh yeah, dude. I spent a lot of time in the mid 90s to early 2000s doing like DJ gigs on the side, and from say 1994 on. Do you know how many people I had to be like, no, "Possession" by Sarah McLachlan is not your song. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because like so many. Oh, and then we want you to play "Possession" because that's our song. No. You know what I mean? Like, that I will absolutely not be playing "Possession" at your wedding as your song, right? And then this one's far more surface level, but I love sharing this story. I had a friend of mine who was getting married, and they didn't have a song. They'd been together for like 15 years, and they just never got around to picking a song. And he says, "Well, we gotta have a song for the reception." And his wife comes to him with a straight face, and she goes, "Well, what about Better Man by Pearl Jam?" and he goes, "No." And she's like, "No, like, I can't find a Better Man." And he's like, "I'm going to go get your earbuds, and I want you to sit here and listen to that song, and then tell me again that you want it to be our wedding song." And so he said she's literally on the couch, like with her earbuds on, and over like before the first chorus, he can like see her face changing, and she's like, "Oh my God." And he's like,
Right.
"Yeah, so not gonna be our song." So I would love to get a top 5 list from this woman, because I guarantee you some of her favorite artists have some unbelievably dark songs that would make Weird Al blush.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
certain. Gosh.
Also, I would like to let her know about a thing called comedy, because it is a joy. Like, she's gonna die
Hilarious.
when she finds out about like Airplane, and
Yeah.
like space, like The Hangover. There's so many comedic things to share with her. Like, once we introduce her to the concept of comedy, she's gonna just roll.
Or
Well, yeah.
or it might be the complete opposite, where she just doesn't get it. Like,
Yeah.
like, this is awful. This is juvenile.
Yeah, I wasn't aware June Cleaver spoke jive. That's fun. That's
Yeah.
fun. That's fun that I know that now.
And you can check out one of her more recent pieces on Isthmus called 9 Madison Summer Freebies.
Oh man, yeah. Well, it's not free anymore, woman. Weird Al at the county fair, because he's busy selling out arenas now.
Right.
You word. I
Yep,
shouldn't
you word
say
you shouldn't say on the
this
Beard Owl podcast.
program.
You know what? Yeah, I can use this as my bleep button.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I like, before we hit record, I know, Scotty, you were very like dismissive of it, which you should be. Like, you were just like, whatever. But like, this type of stuff just incenses me from the aspect of like, I've known guys like you my whole life who like go out and put everything they have into spreading music, and like, how dare someone who is not qualified to speak on the subject speak on the subject?
Yep.
That's what's most offensive.
Same
to
with
me.
film critics.
Yeah.
Same with film critics.
Well,
I can tell when he's like fresh out of college or fresh in college, people are writing like every blockbuster, or quote unquote blockbuster, because no one's busting blocks again into movies.
Right.
But every film I saw for 5 weeks in a row had nothing but the worst reviews, and every one of them were delightful. The Mandalorian and Grogu, Disclosure Day, Toy Story 5. People were like, well, they should have stopped at 3. I'm like, what? Have you seen the movie? I imagine if I had a teenage girl, or like a teenage daughter, I'm sorry, a teenage daughter. I mean, I could tell that's what the movie was like geared to, like preteen, and it was like, but it was so endearing. I'm like, these guys know what they're doing. And then you have to just go, you're on Threads, and then you have to read someone's like, this was trash, and you're like, when did it not just become, when did going to movies, when was fun not enough anymore?
Right.
No,
and
it's like, can't you just go just to enjoy it? I want to shovel popcorn in my face for 90 minutes and have a joy doing it.
Lauren knows I say that all the time. What were you going to say, Lauren?
Well, I was going to give you a countdown. 3, 2, 1.
Let me bring up the Michael Jackson biopic.
Yes.
But there you go. It just no. Have you read the reviews of that?
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, what? It just crossed a big milestone. What was it? Oh, $1 billion.
I need to get the pinky out.
Only $1 billion?
Yeah,
Jeez.
it's the first biopic ever. I love the fact that I get to drop the qualifier now, the music biopic. Nope. It's the largest grossing biopic of all time, right?
Yeah.
And like every critic just lost their mind the day before it came out, trying to be like, oh, this is, And the other thing,
the hot take.
You mentioned too something that's critical to this discussion about this lady too is, people want to judge things based on your misconception for who it was meant for, right?
Yeah.
Like people, like you said all the time, like people, oh, well, Toy Story, it's just trash. It's all, because it's okay to have a film that's squarely aimed at young ladies. Like that's okay, right? And conversely, the same way, like I brought up The Hangover earlier. Like if you're not into like really, really, really childish humor and like shenanigans that would never happen, and like just going on an adventure or whatever else, then like that film's not for you, and that's okay, right? And the other thing you said about just wanting to go to the movies and shove popcorn in is it's similar to this, where sometimes it's just okay to put music on and enjoy what's being presented to you. I always tell people, Scotty, whenever I hear these big, huge, long, knockdown, drag out arguments on line, and it goes for Star Wars and Star Trek. Really. But I always tell people, I'm like, whenever they try and discuss it with me, I always say, okay, I can have a discussion with you about the most minute detail of nearly any song recorded in the last 50 years. But when I go to the theater, and I realize this doesn't make me a cinephile, but when I go to the theater, here's what I would like to see in every single sci-fi movie I see. I would like for the good guys to win for a little while. I would like for the bad guys to win for a little while. And then I would like some lasers and starfighters, and then the good guys to win. And I would like to be eating popcorn the whole time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and if they make movies for people like me, you're going to have to be okay with that. You know? Just like there's so much pop rock out there that like is not for me, but I don't go around dunking on it because there's an audience for that, know? And like this, I just don't understand going, like, you openly state that Weird Al is not your thing, and then you like go on to attempt and fail at insulting what it is that Weird Al does. Like, you went to a show where you knew exactly what you were going to get, and then like went on about how awful it was. Like,
Linda.
It's like I say, you've never heard me. I do not have thoughts to share on how terrible a Creed concert was that I went to, because you wouldn't catch me in that situation.
Yeah, for sure. So then this begs the question: is it actually offensive?
No, there's no such thing in art. Go on.
That's fair.
Discuss. I just wanted to throw that out there, and then y'all go.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you, because I had a little list here of stuff to compare it to. Like, I already mentioned Warren Zevon's Excitable Boy, which I think is just a bop. Like, that's just a fun song. I don't care what he does. He can rub that pot roast all over his chest as much as he wants. Like, get it. right? Then you have the Beatles and Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Literally anything that Tom Lehrer ever did, right? Spring
Yes.
is here, a supering is here. Life is Skittles and life is beer, right? Poisoning pigeons in the park. Like, come on, you know? Or as we dance to the masochism tango.
Dun, dun,
Like,
dun.
it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And, like,
Yeah.
Weird Al was raised on that stuff. And then, like, you think about the time, too. Like, dark fairy tales. Kids' movies were super dark in the 80s. You know?
Yeah, they more or less had to tell Don Bluth to stop making movies because they
Yes.
were scared kids so much.
Come on, you know? So, like, good old days fits in with all of this in a way like yes, like absolutely. It's not offensive. And it's not offensive, you're offended. Right? That's the difference.
Oh,
right.
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
And why are you even there?
Yeah.
No,
You know,
no,
like-
exactly.
Like, I mean, really, did no one else want to take the job? And so why did you take it? Or were you forced, like, hey, we need a hot take. You're going to
Oh
go.
my God.
You're going to go see Weird Al.
I'm pretty sure there were more eyes on that Wisconsin internet magazine.
And that's what I was talking about is, you know, I'm sure some of it was done for the clicks. But, you know, one part of that thing, too, is, and this is what I touched on earlier about, like, I have many friends who appreciate Creed. I don't understand it, but they do. And I don't ever, like, come down on them about it, right? And in that in the intro to that article, she like goes on about how puzzled she is that, you know, some of her friends, you know, and it's like if I was
Are
her
my friends
if I was her
psychopaths
friends,
too?
yeah, well, no, if I was her friends, I would be like, hey, I saw your latest article. To be clear, you think I'm dumb?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like I had a music podcast for 3 years. We never ever discussed Creed because I don't like them at all. And if we ever did, I would never be like, oh yeah, I got 3 friends that love them, and what idiots. You know, like I'm just puzzled by the fact that they like Creed. You're like, no, I'm not puzzled by the fact that they like Creed. People have different tastes, and that's going to have to be okay. You know, you know.
Yep.
But
Yep.
but to answer your, like, there's so many songs, like the one I just mentioned, like Possession by Sarah McLachlan, Better Man. There's so many songs that are so, like Every Breath You Take by The Police.
Every
You know-
breath you take.
Yeah, but do you know how many people think that song is like
Romantic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so not.
Oh, another one I just recently, I've always known the song, but then I just saw the documentary Reasons from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Mm-hmm. That's another one, like people have it like as their wedding song. And I think Maurice White was in the movie where someone was saying, you know, if you listen to the lyrics, that's not I'm not counting off the reasons, you know, why I love you or whatever, you know, it's something completely different. But people, because they hear a pretty melody and they like the way, you know, the way the song is, you know, structured, and they're not really paying attention to what it's really about.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and this may be taking it a bit too far for this discussion, but
I don't care.
well, I always think too
That
that
should be a new soundbite.
with, you know, I've always thought of, like, okay, so we take Axl Rose for an example. Between him and Izzy, if you listen, I mean, there is some nasty lyrics, you know, about many different topics, not just women, but like, you know, there's some very nasty lyrics there. And when I was a kid, I always kind of reconciled that as, you know, if these people are having these feelings or these thoughts or whatever, I would rather them use their music as therapy than become a criminal who acts out these things, right? So I feel like, you know, with a lot of artists who are, you know, I mean, they're cut from a different cloth. People that get to the heights that some of these superstars get, and I always think, you know, I would much rather you work that out via your art than take any real world action on those things, you know. And so, and I'm not, to be clear, I don't think Weird Al's got like any sort of, you know, murderistic tendencies or anything, but because I think squarely everything he's doing is just like, I'm going to take this ridiculously in the opposite direction, you know.
Yeah.
Like Trigger Happy always comes to
Yeah.
mind for that, because like everything the Beach Boys did was just like fun and surf, or what are they saying? The movie Love and Mercy. I'm tired of fun and surf and sun and surf and fun. Like, you know, and so Weird Al was like, what is the exact opposite thing that of what the Beach Boys would be singing about, right? Yeah, like Guns, you know. but I do think that these artists that we have talked about, like Sting or Warren Zevon or Sarah McLachlan, like you're taking and working through a thing instead of like Possession, for example. Sarah McLachlan could have absolutely been like, I'm going to cause harm to this person, for like all of this emotional, but instead, like, I'm going to work it out via my art. And I think there's something to be said for that. And again, this is why I was saying this person's like completely unqualified
Linda,
to speak.
Yeah.
You should make that a drop on your show just every so often. Yeah, Linda.
Oh God.
I tell you what,
Many sound bites from this episode.
I know.
I had been doing
I feel proud.
I have been doing what I think is the Lord's work with the titles or the artwork for each one of these episodes.
Yes.
Which I don't. Have you seen the artwork for this one, Scotty? Did Lauren?
No, I haven't yet. The Velvet Elvis one. When you guys tagged me and I was like, oh yeah, cool, and I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm most proud of.
I want this single.
I'm most proud of that one. And then I don't know if you saw the episode I did with Nick, the alimony, where I took and made it look just like Vital Idol. But it's a picture of Al, and I did the whole thing, the Yankovic and everything. And none of these are AI, by the way. I did not go to the bots and go like, "Hey, make me this." Like I made every one of these.
He does. He makes it for me.
But the one for this episode that we're recording right this second is just very simple. It's the James Taylor's Greatest Hits. So it's like the white background and Weird Al. But then I put instead of the list of the song, I put the whole lyrics of Good Old Days.
Perfect.
And so I mean, it looks just like the cover. Like if they were going to release this as a 7-inch, that should absolutely be the cover
totally.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, my point is that I just think that people who are not qualified to speak on any sort of art should not be doing so. And I think Linda made it 100% clear in the first paragraph that
100%. Yeah.
God, I had to bring it up with this episode, like talking about this song, because it's like I remember us getting so mad about it at the time, and like this song specifically, like she called out like pretty hard, and I'm like, well, hold on.
To put this like back on me, you hear me talk about this all the time. There's two things I never talk about with anyone ever. And it's not like you always hear that thing, you're not supposed to talk about religion and politics and parties. That's not the two. It's one of them. The two things I never discuss with anyone ever is politics and sports. And by sports, I mean everything but WWE, because I'll talk WWE all day long. But
sports entertainment.
Yeah, sports entertainment I'll talk about all day long.
I'm sports entertained.
But
yes.
And the reason I don't talk about sports and politics is not because I'm not interested in the topics. It's that, and I hope everyone is sitting for this, I'm not qualified to talk on those topics.
Right.
I don't know, like when someone tries to start up a discussion with me about like last Sunday's game or whatever, I always tell them, I'm like, oh, I didn't see it. And then they want to go, and I'm like, no. I want to be clear. I didn't see it was a choice. You know what I mean? And so anything I'm going to tell you is just going to be like a mild regurgitation of something I heard someone else say, whether it was on TV or in a conversation or whatever. Like that doesn't make me qualified to speak on this subject. So I'm not going to speak on this subject.
I am the same way because like when the Detroit Lions started to become a good team again, because I stopped following most sports and football years ago because, I liked other things. I liked Star Wars. I liked rock and roll. I liked all this other stuff. But I also didn't have a team to root for.
Right.
Because they weren't good for so long. Then they got good. And it kind of like in a period of time where other things were maybe not as interesting to me, I started watching it. But I'm the same way because I'm not qualified or educated enough in the game where I can watch it and know what's going on. But then there's things I can't explain. Like I watch, and if I miss a game because I'm at work or something, and I watch the 12-minute highlight reel of a 3-hour game, then I'm definitely not getting the full scope.
Yeah, and you don't think
I can tell you they won.
Right, and you don't go around, presenting yourself as an expert because you saw a 12-minute highlight of a game, right? And conversely, like these people shouldn't be going around presenting themselves as an expert on someone's entire career. Because of, hearing 2 or 3 songs and, judging them by it. So I just wish more people would do that. I wish more people would be like, you know what? And Lauren hears me say this all the time to people. I'm like, you know what? You know way more about that than I do. So I'm going to listen to you about it. And people are like taken aback when I say that. They think that I'm like, I don't know, like poking fun at them knowing someone. And I'm like, no, like I want to hear you speak because I don't know, like, bring up the subject of like, again, almost any music from the past 50 years, and I will talk your ear off. But like the thing you want to talk about, I don't know. And so I want you to tell me about it. And people are like, they don't know how to take that. They're just like, what? I'm like, yeah, believe it or not, I'm not going to act like an expert. I don't know on this topic. I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
The next time something like this happens where, like as we progress and people do become more offended by stuff, you should write your own review, but not like a rebuttal to the review. Just you submit it as, oh, you posted the wrong review. This is what really happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And then just go on like that didn't even exist. So they get the true fans' perspective and people will go, crap, I should have went.
Yeah,
Yep.
like here, fix it for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Oh
Yes.
my God. Yeah.
I think next time I hear somebody speak on a topic that they don't know what they're talking about, which unfortunately with social media is like going to happen 5 minutes after this episode.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to refer to it as pulling a Linda from now on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
You pulled a Linda with that one.
Karen, you just got your name back.
Dang, if I had subtitles for episodes, that would have been it. That would be it.
Yep.
Yeah, that would absolutely be it. But I mean, so
All the nice Karens out there in the world that suffered
Yeah, Linda, your days are
from that.
numbered.
Linda, it's your turn.
yeah. Linda. So I think the thing that really like kind of ties all of this up, right, is that satire, like what this is, requires the audience to play along. And Linda did not play along.
Oh, I don't think she knows the meaning of the word play.
Or I was gonna say right? Because like Good Old Days isn't funny because violence is funny. Good Old Days is funny because of the juxtaposition, the delivery, right?
Yeah, it's the extreme opposite of what it like. How that's lost on someone is beyond me.
I know, Russ. I tell you all the time in like our day to day life, a person is smart. People are not smart.
Yeah.
Like. And that's just kind of the way it is. And I'm so glad it was the two of you to have this conversation with, because it just makes it all make so much sense. I mean, I feel like we've exhausted most of this, but Scotty, was there anything else that you desperately needed to talk about with this song? Because I'm more than happy to go there.
The other thing that this song, like many Weird Al songs, brings the question I've always wanted to ask him is, how many times while you're recording did you just lose it? Because
I've always wondered
you
that
listen
too.
to how perfectly he delivers those lines, and how could you not just stop and start laughing? Even if you wrote something funny. I mean, we laugh at our own jokes all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, Weird Al's a genius. It's like he had to just say, oh my, like how many times did they just stop in the studio and just crack up? Or like when he presented it to the band members, okay, you're going to do this, this, and this. And then they look at the lyrics. Are they numb to it? Or do they say, oh, you did it again,
Yeah.
Darn.
I've always wondered that too. Like, especially what you were talking about, like when he passes it around, says, okay, this is what we're doing. Like, there's got to be some sort of like, oh, holy crap. Like that's hilarious, But you talk about things I would want, man. I would love to hear some cutting room floor stuff. What you're talking about, like just weird,
Totally.
like outtakes and stuff of him, like delivering these lyrics that all of us know so well, but then like losing it on this take or that take or whatever. That would be wonderful.
Yeah. And and also like kind of tying it with that review, like if this person's trying to like also insinuate what type of person Al is or anything like that from these lyrics, it's like, yeah, he's doing it for the fans. But like I recently had rewatched UHF on Blu-ray, and I was going through all the deleted scenes and do all the bonus features, and you get to the deleted scenes and there's a lot of stuff that didn't make it in the movie that was just bad. But they're not going, oh, we should have left that in. Every time something came up that could even be deemed as like offensive these days, all these years later, they cut to Al and he's like, yeah, Like, he knows better.
Yeah.
You know, he's not this, like, like you can't paint him to be a bad guy because of a song like this from all those years ago. If you truly think that he's a horrible person for, singing about, torturing a rat with a hacksaw.
Well, and another point I want to bring up here is I've always said to people too, regarding, like, when I was a kid and I was in a fairly sheltered, like, religious home, there was like a certain amount of people within the religion who would like make it their business to like go around and tell people what was wrong with the artists that they like, oh, did you hear what, we'll pull it's Steven Tyler, did you hear what, Aerosmith did, blah, blah, blah. And
do you know what AC/DC means?
Oh, yeah, I know. and ever since I was a little kid, and this kind of ties in with what I was saying about Linda and her 5 favorite artists earlier.
Linda.
Don't worry, I'm not going to pull a Linda. Don't worry.
Don't pull a Linda.
What kind of idiot would pull a Linda? But what I always wanted to do at that time was be like, hey, who do you listen to more often than not? Because no matter what they say, I'm going to be able to be like, oh, well, let me tell you what I heard on MTV News about your favorite artist. You know what I mean? There's no need to go around like judging people and my whole point hinges on what you're saying, Scotty. Like, if this was set in judgment of, oh, Weird Al must be a bad person because he wrote this. I want to be like, okay, well, who's your favorite artist? And please say the Eagles or something that you think is like super safe, because I am about to rock your world, and again, just like we were saying earlier about like some of the nicest people in real life are not, and some of the people that can come up with things like this are some of the nicest people. It's like, I guarantee you some of those singer-songwriters that you think are such perfect people, like, for example, like, I would love to ask Linda what she thinks of Jackson Browne.
Right.
And I'm sure she loves his wholesome music. And then I would ask her to maybe phone up Carly Simon and ask Carly Simon what she thinks of Jackson Browne, or any number of other women who are around Jackson Browne. You know what I mean? Like,
like the I'm brain farting on the actress who was in Splash.
Oh, Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah, yeah. Apparently, that's when she was the one that, when I started hearing bad things about Jackson Browne and like things like abuse, and physically, it was from after their relationship.
And again, like, that dude makes some of the nicest sounding music on planet Earth. Right. Yes. That's wow. I thought he was here for a minute.
Thanks.
I was going to ask him about why he treats women that way.
I know.
But I wouldn't pull a Linda.
Don't pull a Linda.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? I just like the point of what you're saying, Scotty, totally feeds into that. You are not qualified to speak on this topic. You have pulled a Linda.
Yeah. And that's why truly I on this show I try very, very hard only to have people that are qualified to talk on this topic.
How did you come into the notion that Scotty was qualified to speak on it? Was it the 2-hour discussion you guys had the day you met about Weird Al?
We got it all out.
I know, it was
that fast.
Oh
like,
my God.
Okay. At work, I'm like, okay, I remember this. Here's everything,
Yeah, I know. It was
so funny because Nick and I were across the store, and like, we're, of course, I mean, you've been in this conversation with me, Scotty. Like, we'll skate across 20,000 topics in like an hour, So like, Nick and I are on like our 14th topic in like this time span, and we both kind of look over there, and he's like, "What do you think they're talking about?" And I was like, "I think they're still talking about Weird Al." Like,
there's very few things I can keep going on like that with it. Weird Al's one, Alice Cooper's another, and there's things, Star Wars. It's always that way, and someone will come back and be like, "Oh, what's going on? Oh, you're still talking about this?" And it's like,
yeah. So
gasp.
You can't. You can't still be talking about this? Get out of
Sorry,
here,
you
Linda.
can't hang.
Is your next project going to be Weird Alice Cooper?
I'll go.
Okay, here's the thing. Ever since I moved, I have this spot in my living room where I do switch up these 2 shelves, and for the longest time, as I weed through stuff in my storage, and I have these totes with all and stuff in my office, so all my Weird Al paraphernalia, and I have tons of Alice Cooper paraphernalia. Well, there is going to be a Weird Al Weird Alice installation where I'm going to mix my Weird Al and Alice Cooper things together, like mainly like action figures and stuff like that, or dolls, as some people would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, and definitely I need to blow up a nice that shot of the Weird Al band with Alice Cooper when he got the heart boxers.
Yeah.
I remember when that photo was going around, and I'm like, "Oh my God, Alice and Weird Al!"
Yeah.
Like back when it happened, I was like, "Worlds collide." Then you find out years later, oh yeah, they're actually they're friends, and they do their thing together at the Maui Food Bank and all that, and it's like, oh, that's so great.
I was
love that.
just to quickly talk on that. Well, the topic of like pictures of Weird Al with people, man. As a guy who grew up, again in 3D was the first record I picked up and whatever, and I was heavily into so many different types of music. I'm not kidding you. Like in Rolling Stone or whoever ran that photo first, you see it online all the time, but I remember seeing it in print. That photo of Weird Al with Run DMC from like 85 or whatever, and like be me. In that moment, like I was like the Beavis or the Butthead quote, I was like, "This is the coolest thing I have ever seen." Like,
yes,
I was just like, no one. I've never met anyone else outside of me who enjoys thoroughly at the time the 3 Run DMC records and thoroughly enjoys these 2 Weird Al albums, and these guys are all together in this picture. Like, it was just like the greatest moment for me. Like I was just like, this is And then besides the whole association with MJ, I was just like, this guy's the coolest dude ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always love when you see these photos, especially from way back or even, at whatever point in time, the artists that are pictured with him are always like excited and they're happy. And Weird Al always does this thing where he tries to look like he's awkward, like, like he doesn't belong there, or he's embarrassed to be with them. I always wonder what the attitude is. But I've noticed that I recently did if you can call it a reread of both of Bermuda Schwartz's photo books.
Yes.
And I was going through them, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, cool. And I had forgot that it had a great, clear shot of, the band with Alice. And I'm looking at each member of how happy they are. And Alice, of course, is the one doing because he's holding the boxers, right, and then days later, I watched, those boxers get handed off to some, some lady in the crowd.
That's like there's that one picture of Weird Al with Paul McCartney that floats around online so much, and I love the caption that people put with it.
You mean the one that's of the greatest musician of our time, and then also Paul McCartney's
yes.
in the picture?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the caption. I just love that so much. I think that's absolutely delightful.
And again, like that, like I, at the risk of offending Linda, like not Linda McCartney, Linda the idiot. Like I like
village
that,
idiot.
Like if Weird Al's good enough for Sir Paul and Run DMC, he's gonna have to be good enough for you, Linda.
For Linda from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I know. Look, it's public material. I'm not even being mean, really. I'm just saying.
And it's a shame because Linda in Spanish, I believe, is beautiful.
Oh no.
What an insult!
Well, there's such a
the Spanish language.
There is such a notion of the beautiful idiot. So
that's fair. That's fair. That's totally.
But no,
fair.
and also don't feel bad because like there's a lot of malicious intent in that article, and I don't go after people like I many times even with the I alluded to earlier the MJ reviews like. I didn't pay any of that any mind. I didn't go after any of the reviewers. Like it was like a consider the source thing for me. I was just like, well, of course they're going to dunk all over this movie, right? So, but like in a lot of that coverage that I did read of even with the media having their like obvious agenda against this one dude, like they were at least reviewing the film, right, against its merits and like. And what they thought it lacked. This woman's like flat out going after Weird Al and his fans. And like at that point, you're opening yourself up to, do unto others. If you're going to talk that way about me and my boy, then like I'm going to give you a talking to, Linda.
Linda.
Bring it.
I love it.
Come on, Linda.
Jesus. Oh boy. All right. I feel
Come around here talking that mess, Linda. We'll show you how Detroit does.
Yeah. Yeah, don't come into my house with that.
Coming from two men wearing Hawaiian shirts.
I was gonna say,
I know. I love it.
you're gonna find out for the third time in your life that Hawaiian shirt does not equal nice.
Okay. So
That was a similar joke that when I saw my brothers, both my brothers and their wives were at the show in Saginaw. When I came up behind them, it was my older brother's birthday, and I'm like, oh, hey, I was gonna say, look out for me, I'm the one in the Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, no. That's like the one place Lauren and I don't stick out.
oh my God.
Like everyone all over Jacksonville, like we were at a dinner theater last night, and a woman came from all the way across the dinner theater to be like, I don't want to bother you guys, but like I love you guys and I'll follow you online and stuff, because everyone notices us in our shirts.
Yeah.
Like going to a Weird Al show is like the one place we blend in.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, just a face in the crowd.
It's it's kind of nice. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, look at this is what it's like. Okay, I'm amongst the Weird Al people. I feel like that should wrap up our conversation, because this has been a doozy. But hey, it's the album closer, right?
Yeah.
So do you have any final thoughts? Anything further you need to get off of your chests? Feel free to say no.
Yeah, no, I think I, at least speaking only for me and my Linda hate, I have yet again exercised my Linda demon.
Okay.
I intentionally drank
Oh right.
Founder's easy drinking beer tonight.
Yeah. Last time he was here, he was having a hefty beer. You know what?
Yep.
I'm going to give
Yeah.
you one more sound drop, Scotty.
I had to pop myself a beer.
Absolutely. When I saw this, I'm like, oh, that's perfect, because it just takes me also back to like those times when you'd watch television and they could drink a beer on TV, and it would just say beer.
Oh
You know?
yeah.
Al Bundy or someone like that. You know,
I
they
don't
would
know.
have their beer, and it was just some generic, or it actually looked like a brand name. It's like the Budweiser logo. It just says beer.
Yeah.
I always think of I don't know why, but this has happened on a million shows, but for whatever reason, Roseanne is always the one that sticks
Yes.
in my mind. Like Dan and his buddies playing poker, and all of them had beer, like, and it was always like facing the camera, and you're like, if it's not a real product, you don't have to do product placement.
Right.
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 And you can almost smell that beer from the table, and it smells good.
Yes.
It's that classic stuff.
Those guys are drinking Natural Light or Milwaukee's Best.
something like that.
Oh,
It's-
for sure. Dan Connor didn't, I don't think, stepped above Milwaukee's Best.
First of all,
No, not at all. Hams is another one too. I worked in a small grocery store in the late '80s and into the early '90s, and that, like, I saw, and I'm not maybe I was judging at the time, but when I saw a lot of people that I could tell where they lived if they were buying a case of Blatz.
Yeah.
or if they're buying something like Falstaff or something like. Same with the people that stepped it up a little bit and bought Wild Irish Rose or Mad Dog 2020.
it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. I love it. That easy drinking beer that you have, though, is it a Pilsner?
It's a Founders. It's a Pilsner. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't think it's an IPA. It doesn't.
No, I
taste
think
like
it is.
one.
I think it's a Pils.
Yeah, it's a 5% alcohol.
Yeah, well, I mean-
so that way I wouldn't start slurring by the end of the episode.
Yeah, no, you did go last time. You were fine last time.
No?
No, the reason I asked is because, like, an easy drinking beer, like session IPAs are also around 5%. So that's
Yeah.
why I asked, because
Yeah, this definitely has like the
It's-
the ilk of like a Michelob Ultra.
yeah, that's what they do. But it's got a little more flavor to it than one of those.
Yeah, it does.
I love it.
It does almost taste like an IPA though. I don't know. I guess I have to dig a little bit deeper.
Well, so I mean, we have the benefit of its Founders easy drinking beer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised it doesn't.
Founders easy. I am over 21 website. Gosh, I mean, I could hit yes even if I wasn't.
Probably have people like Linda running that site.
It is hopped with Mosaic, so it's actually a session IPA,
Okay.
a golden ale,
I can taste that.
because it's got Mosaic hops, pale malts, crisp notes of honey, cereal, and fruity hops. Light sweetness
And a
with a
cool
delicious,
logo.
easy finish and a very cool logo. Yeah, I want that on a T-shirt, like real bad.
Very retro.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm certain Founders makes that T-shirt.
Well, I want that
Yeah.
T-shirt. All right. I feel like this is a good place to wrap up the episode.
Yes.
In all seriousness,
yeah.
I know that we went on many tangents, but like, it's fitting because so much of the tangents we went on was literally talking about the good old days
yeah.
in many ways. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to feel bad about with this episode. It
I'm
was
not.
very good.
oh, I regret nothing.
Good. I regret nothing
Well,
either.
I also kind of feel like that even worse is even though it's packed with stacked with great beginning to end great songs. I feel like it's a short album,
Yeah.
so these episodes should be longer.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, we've done a really good job with that. Let me tell you. So
I don't think Twister has dropped yet.
not as of
time
the
this
recording. It'll be the Friday after this. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
Good.
It's actually shorter
I'm
than this
excited.
episode.
and
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought for sure you guys were going to pull out like the 2-hour marathon.
Oh, we tried.
spoiler on that episode. There's again, I've done my business with the album art for it, and as you might imagine, it's a riff on "License to Ill," the cover. But you know the very famous if you turn the cover around in the mirror, what the plain call letters say.
Yeah.
Okay. I did a riff on that with a quote from Weird Al. So make sure to look at the plain
Excellent.
numbers.
Oh, I'll be
Yeah, that's not
looking.
a spoiler for the listeners. That's just a spoiler for Scotty because time is a flat circle.
Oh yeah, that's right. This episode will be out afterwards.
Yeah.
So people will have seen
Yeah,
it.
people will have seen that 2 weeks ago. But speaking of 2 weeks, 2 weeks from now, I will be doing my traditional side wrap up with friend of the show and comedy musician Insane Ian.
Fun.
And
Yes.
yeah, we'll be back to handle business like that with us, and so that should be a good time. And then we're gonna get to UHF.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're already there. I gotta line up more guests to fill that up.
A lot for that record.
Yeah, but we're gonna
Yeah, you need to start thinking on that.
I'm gonna talk to you,
And,
Scotty. I'll let you know.
Tell holler at Nick and tell him to be thinking of a song
Yeah,
to pick off
I'll,
of there too.
I'll tell you what's already taken offline.
I thought you were going to. Wait, yes, listen.
Yeah, no. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, we've got a lot of repeat offenders coming back for the UHF album, which I think is going to be super fun. I feel like, truthfully, at this point, I have such a cool arsenal of regular guests here that like we both have a really good time talking to about Weird Al. That it's like, you know what, this is it. Like this is how we're rolling with it. So
Yeah.
we'll get into that. I don't know. I'm just like projecting for myself in the future. There may be some either, bonus episodes or just a little bit of time in between before we get rolling on UHF, but who's to say? We still have the album side wrap up to go with Insanity and to still happen. So, anyway, stay tuned. I do my best to keep up with stuff even in between albums. So there's all that. Scotty, did you have anything you wanted to plug or add at the end for yourself? I know I'm throwing it at you.
Yeah. No, well, I guess if I wanted to plug something, I had mentioned in the previous episode I was on that I do own a record label called Bellyache Records, and I was in the process of doing a new single with my friend Ryan Roxy, who's been a longtime lead guitar player for Alice Cooper. And even though nobody can see this right now, I do have the finished
Oh, that's
7-inch
awesome.
here.
Oh, fun. I saw
And
you. Yeah.
we received our purple vinyl and our black vinyl before the red vinyl, which we're actually receiving tomorrow. So I shipped out all the people that only ordered purple or black, and I saw that people were already getting it, and they're tagging me. And the one thing that I love, even as much as them playing it and enjoying it, is the fact that they open it up and there's I always do a nice stock, decent artwork, a nice pull-out insert with the lyrics and everything else, and comes with an autographed like a 4x6 card from Ryan, and it makes me really happy when people they feel like wow, this was well spent, because they're getting. I make records that I want to buy.
I was just
Yeah.
going to say that.
It makes me happy when people actually appreciate that, because there's no reason, as a person that runs a record label, there's no reason why on the independent level you can't make records better than the major labels, and again make records that you would want to buy. It can be done, and having people that are just, they get so excited about it, and it really, it's fulfilling.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
That's
like
awesome.
I said, just not long before we signed on, I saw a few tags. I'm like, what's this person tagging me? And I'm like, oh, I just sent them a record. That's right. And I'm like, oh, great. And they're so happy to get it, because we decided that for this series of 7-inches, it wasn't going to be A side, B side. It's A side, A side.
Nice.
Like both sides are and when you pull up the record, it's like, we took a page out of the cheap trick book of tricks, and it says side A on one side and side 1 on the other, so it's like double A side. Both these songs are good enough to be the lead single.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Jinx.
Watch your mailbox.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wait, how did you get our? Oh, it's because I'm always ordering records from your record store. That's how you got our address.
The funny thing is it's like there's very few addresses, like whenever I have to send something to somebody, and then even though our program at work always knows, I just start typing Russ, and it just automatically pulls up whatever Russ's we've set stuff to, but yours comes up first, and I know I know that address.
Yeah. You're like, I know where this is going.
I can't tell you my parents' phone number, but I can tell you Russ's address.
Yes,
That's
it's
great.
almost like I order a lot of records from y'all.
Yeah.
No, so you could just get here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's Rock City Music Company in Livonia, Michigan.
Yeah.
Look at me go.
Thank you. Yeah, I realized after I did my first episode, I came on and just said I was a big Weird Al fan. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I've been working in the music business for almost 40 years, and I run a record label. I've been in music retail forever.
Also,
I've played in bands.
you're a big
I've
Weird Al
done
fan.
everything connected. But most importantly, I love Weird Al.
That's it. I feel like that's the perfect note to end this on.
Yep.
Yes.
Russ, thank you for rolling your chair in here, as
Oh,
always.
It's literally the least I can do.
I know. Scotty, thank you so much for being here. Scotty will be back
Thank
for
you.
something on the UHF album yet to be determined, but we will determine it, and that will absolutely occur. And thank you for being people listening to this. Thank you for being with us through this entire recap of the Even Worse record. It's been super duper fun. Like I said, we've got the recap coming for side 2 with Insane Ian in 2 weeks. But other than that, as always, stay weird and be kind, bring joy, repeat. Bye.